Sagittarius. Welcome to your early May 2019 spiritual pep talk. And this is, I think I said talk, like I don't know. This is a reading that I wanted to experiment with for a while now. I didn't know exactly how I was going to do it. So what I'm going to be doing is picking 3 tarot cards and 1 oracle card, and just kind of riffing on the cards. Well, the oracle card I'll read from the book, but just kind of like keeping it in the present tense and trying to give like a little inspirational read and not delve into other, like the past or even the future, just like what is happening right now. And I think it's kind of like an interesting take, and it's also liberating because you can just see if what is happening right now makes sense based on what the cards are, and like the synchronicity of it, in other words. So anyway, we will see what I get here. And there's also like an exercise when you learn how to read the tarot, and I never did this extensively, like practice like this, where you take 2 cards and you try to draw a parallel between them, like you do, like if I took these first 2 cards and tried to do that. And it's just a way to get to know the cards to the extent where you can refer to another one, you know, like in pairs, and see the connections between them. That's, I think, why they have that exercise. So and then this is the Native Spirit deck, where I'm going to get the oracle card from. So we shall see. Ooh, I don't know if I've ever gotten this one before. This is cool. I read from the booklet because I don't have it memorized. And, you know, there's a lot of interesting stuff that they've written there. And I don't want to give it the short shrift, as they say. So, the first card I got is the 5 of Cups, which is a card of mourning the loss of something. And I want you to think, if you feel like there is something that you had that you don't have right now, Sag, and how that makes you feel. You know, it's funny because I was talking about drawing the connection, and I have here, I'm going to get back to that first card, but I just want to say that this is a card of commitment and, you know, sometimes, you know, like saying yes to a marriage proposal, or, you know, committing to being with somebody. So maybe for some people that might feel like you thought that you had this commitment and now it's gone. You were together and you were together and it didn't last. And but I want to look at what is going on if we just look at all these cards now. So if you feel like you are mourning the loss of something, even if love comes your way, it can be hard for you to commit to it because you may be gun shy. You may feel like, what's the use? You know, this person's only going to break my heart eventually. It's going to take time, but it'll happen. And so you may have the possibility of love, but still have a hard time being willing to trust it. I'm trying to think of other things besides relationships that I would associate. You know, it's hard because with cups, we are usually talking about relationships in one form or the other. And, you know, the thing with the 5 of Cups that is often mentioned is that the person is turning their back on the 2 cups that are upright. And so it's almost implying that they're not seeing what they have, the silver lining, or, you know, the good things in their life. And I was reading somewhere, which I think is pretty interesting, this idea that sometimes a person will blame one experience for just everything falling apart in their life. And really, that it's not really true, that what they acted like was that important was really just one event. And maybe you're overblowing something and blowing it up to be just this major tragedy, and it's really not. The Two of Cups, by the way, can talk about forgiveness. And perhaps you're holding on to pain because it makes you feel right, and it makes you feel like if you were to forgive somebody, then you would have to perhaps lose that sense of control, that sense of power. And this is why I do think sometimes people have a hard time forgiving, because they don't want to let it go. They want to hold on to that pain because then they can have this upper hand by not forgiving somebody. They can feel this sense of superiority, that they didn't do something as bad as this person, and things like that. So look at how forgiveness is perhaps not something that you are embracing, that maybe you need to embrace. It's a real tricky subject because you can't just snap your fingers and forgive. Even if you wanted to, you may find that you have kind of like a hardness in your heart at this time about a particular person, and it's really not about trying to force yourself, but at least making space in your consciousness for that to happen, because you would be surprised at how much relief you're going to feel if you are able to let go of a grievance, or this sense, you know, with the Five of Cups, it could be like this sense of loss. And you can see that, yes, the universe is always working on my behalf, no matter what. And I don't have to play the victim anymore. That's not my true identity, and it's not really getting me anywhere, so why should I? And then the last tarot card I got was the Five of Wands. And this is a card, sometimes I see this as a card of conflict, but to me, in the context of those other two cards, it's like, to me, this is like the battle of life, but almost in a playful way, a positive way of like getting in the fray of things. And maybe you have been out of commission for some reason, nursing your wounds, so to speak. And if this is, if you're somebody that really wants to connect with somebody romantically, Sag, and you have kind of kept yourself apart, it may be time now to get back into the thick of things. And, you know, I was thinking that song Back on the Chain Gang came in my mind, but that didn't seem like a very positive way of looking at love. You know, the same thing could apply to even like a work experience that went sour, that you may have been keeping to yourself, and now it's time to like go back into the fight. And not be a fight that is like of a negative connotation, but just like that sense of like, I have something to offer, and that friendly competition that work can be when it's not in a toxic situation. So then I picked a card tracker, and I'm going to look that up. That's very intriguing to me because I have no idea what that means. Focus your intent and your passion on one thing rather than being scattered in different directions. Be single-minded in what's truly important in your life and let everything else go. Track the unseen but very real stream of energy to that which you desire. I think this is valuable advice for Sag in general because we, yes, me too, are mutable signs. We are a mutable sign, and we tend to have varied interests, and sometimes it's hard, maybe because of that Jupiter influence, we tend to like to just, do everything, multitask and all that stuff, but then you get sidetracked. It's funny, this card says tracker. Trackers have the ability to be so focused that everything but their goal disappears. What you see around you is a result of what you focus on. When you direct your thoughts toward good, you attract positive experiences and people into your life. But when you focus on what isn't working, you create even more challenging situations. I was just mentioning this earlier today. If you aren't pleased with the direction of your life, concentrate on what you desire, not on what you don't want. This is part of the law of attraction, by the way. To develop inner power, focus intently on one thing. Being scattered in a myriad of directions dilutes your strength. Devote your attention to your family, community, career, relationships, hobbies, or anything you're passionate about. Diminish activities that aren't essential to your goals, and it will be just a matter of time before miracles begin to occur. Oh, that is so inspirational, because that is kind of what was going through my mind, and I didn't even know it. I mean, I didn't articulate it that way, and it wasn't exactly how I would have imagined it, but I like it even more. Now, they even give you like some advice on how you can do this on a tangible level. They say write down how much time on average that you spend on different activities during the day. If there's anything non-essential that doesn't feed your soul, find ways to diminish it and focus on what's truly important. Oh gosh. Would you dare take the challenge? I mean, I think about the internet. It's like, oh yeah, that has to be kind of way down. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this, Sag, and I'm doing a special offer for this type of personal reading, and I have the introductory offer below if you're interested, and I hope you have a great start to the month. Of course, we've already had a start to the month, but I hope it continues for you. Take care. Bye.